Hello, my name is Roberto Seda with Seda Law Firm, and I'm here with Mike Giese with Purview Life, and we are here continuing our OKC Community Spotlight. And this month, I'm really excited to talk to Mike. Um, Here recently, I've actually had the opportunity to work with him. If you don't know what Purview Life is about, we're going to get to learn today. If you don't mind, Mike, why don't you tell me a little bit, or why don't you help explain to the audience what you do and kind of how you got started?
I will. Thanks for having me. So, Purview Life is a franchise company, mainly based in the Midwest. It's been around for about 15 years, and it is a life management company that uses kind of a life centric approach to help families with their loved ones, or estate planning attorneys, or trust attorneys with their clients maneuver through some triggering events with their clients and family members to get through difficult times.
And so I guess, the reason we got to work together, right, is I had a client who, in sitting down with our clients, they wanted to disinherit their three children. They're newer to the community. And so when they sat down, we sat down with them and asked, who would you want your decision makers to be in the event that you were incapacitated? And so we're trying to avoid guardianship by doing their powers of attorney. They told us, look, we're disinheriting our three kids. We go to church, but we don't really know the church members well enough. Is there somebody that you know that does this professionally? And having just recently, a little before that, talked to Mike and getting to learn about what they do, he told me that they actually serve as attorney in fact when called upon. And so I think that that's where we named Purview as the attorney in fact, not only medically, but when we were talking, you said as long as there is basically an intervening company or someone kind of putting this together, that you will also serve as the financial power of attorney. We actually named Purview and then connected our clients with them so that in the event that something happened to either spouse, that's when Purview would be asked to step in. So um, I guess in a situation like that, what to you, what would be an ideal client or an ideal family situation where you're being asked to step in, knowing that every family is a little bit different?
Just to back up a little bit, we really market ourselves as a bonus family member. But in truth, we're really a concierge service.
Mhm.
So some of the larger services that we provide, especially for attorneys, is acting as a professional guardian for somebody who cannot take care of themselves. We're acting as a medical power of attorney or attorney in fact, because they might not have an adult child or an advocate in those situations. And then just being an advocate. So we kind of come to figure out that about 25% of people over the age of 65 either are childless or don't have contact with their adult children. And that can be for a multitude of reasons: family dynamics, disinheriting a child, drugs, abuse, or maybe sometimes people just don't want to put that responsibility on an adult child to have to unplug mom or dad in a medical situation. We're glad to be an objective third party and step in and do the wishes of the client.
So are you only asked to serve in that capacity through the estate planning documents such as a POA, or do you ever get called upon by the courts, or what other instances may you be asked to just step into that role?
We get clients from every angle. As guardians, we're always appointed by a judge. So those all have to go through a court process. When we're marketing ourselves to trust companies and trust attorneys and getting our information out, we'll get referral calls like yourself. And then we try to get involved with the community as well and let as many people know as possible that we have that service. And we'll just be contacted by families through word of mouth. So we get it from all angles, really.
From what you've seen, based on your experience, um, are there some considerations that you would recommend to the general public and says, if you're dealing with this, that may be a good time for someone like us to step in and maybe step into the shoes of being a trusted advisor.
Yes, we always love to encourage people to plan in calm mode and not crisis mode. So again, we get both. For instance, the clients that you referred us to, We're working on some trust documents and some wills. They're planning ahead for the future, and that's wonderful. And I like to congratulate those people when we do business with them. But we also get the people who, grandma just died, and no one knows where all of her paperwork is, or where the ownership of the oil wells are, or anything, and they're in crisis mode. They don't know what to do. They don't even know how to gain access to her bank accounts, to keep her mortgage going, to doing all kinds of things. So we really encourage people all the time that if they have financial resources and they want to take care of loved ones, that they need to plan ahead.
Yeah. So you mentioned you sort of act like as concierge service, right? So it may not be that you're named in an estate planning document. It may not be that you're actually named guardian through the court system. This could just be somebody that's out there and says, I really wish I had somebody to help me locate my minerals. And it sounds like they could call you and says, there's some financial things that we need help with. Will you come in and help me basically organize all of that? Is that something that's similar? Am I looking at that correctly?
Yes, yes. So we have clients that we're not guardian of, that we're not medical power of attorney of. Um, they just, through whatever channel, got engaged with our service, and we maybe say, for instance, they have adult children, but they don't live within proximity. They live in Maryland, and we'll be contacted by the loved ones and say, hey, we want you to check on mom once a week. Make sure that, she doesn't have 30 pills in her bottle that was filled 2 weeks ago. Make sure she's got food in the fridge. Make sure that the dog's being fed, and make sure she's okay and getting around. There's no trip hazards. We have clients that we just really kind of life manage. And then we have clients who we're asked to call on maybe once a week and make sure that they're able to answer the phone and that they're doing okay. So as a concierge service, we only do what's asked of us by the responsible party or the loved ones that we're engaged with.
So it sounds like there's a lot of knowledge that you need to kind of do something like this. You mentioned that you are part of a franchise. Tell me a little bit about how many states is the franchise in? How long has the franchise itself kind of been around?
So the franchise was started by a couple of nurses in Tulsa, Oklahoma. They were originally a home health company. And as they went into clients' homes and were taking care of them and engaging with their families would always be asking the home health nurses, hey, do you know someone that could help them? And, we have to move back to Florida and we have jobs, and you know of anybody that does this? So they kind of just came up with the concept of Purview Life, sold their home health company, started Purview, and now it's across the Midwest. There's a couple franchises here in Oklahoma. There's one in Arkansas, there's one in Texas. And it's growing because the baby boomers are getting to the age where they're not being able to take care of themselves. So it's a quickly growing facet.
No, and I think it's needed, especially with our generation getting older. You've got the baby boomers that I think definitely getting to a point where they may need your services. Somebody wanted to engage you. Are they looking? How long is that lead process? Are they looking at days, weeks, or months? And how extensive is that paperwork to get started?
Really no paperwork other than a one-page agreement that says we're going to provide you the services that you request at X amount. And again, that we can always operate within a budget if we need to. We have clients that just say, we want our loved ones taken care of, and do what you need to do, and bill us back for it. But really, depending on the severity of the services needed, if it's a facility placement or just checking on someone, we can almost be seeing somebody same day or the next day pretty fast. I mean, other than if we're acting as a medical power of attorney, we do have a 9-page document, a history and physical, that we do like to have so that we can properly take care of the person if there's a triggering event. We also like to, obviously, on all of our clients, have a copy of their advance directives so that we can help them if they have a triggering event and need us to make some decisions on their behalf. But there's not a lot of paperwork, contracts, or anything like that. It's just really, what do you need us to do for you? And that's what we're going to do.
Yeah. So a lot of times it helps the public to kind of have an example, right, of how Purview Life was able to step in and help a family. Can you share an experience of where you definitely felt like you made an impact?
Yeah, I can give you really two that have been pivotal for me and my wife and this company. And one was for a family, and one was just for the individual client himself. The individual client was a special needs gentleman. older, and his three primary care people were his mom, his dad, and his uncle, and they all died within 3 months. So he was found in a home by himself. Um, Adult Protective Services was involved. They knew of our service. They contacted us. They had quite a large file on him. He would wander around the neighborhood and things like that. So we were able to petition the court for guardianship and get him a safe facility. And we see him once a week. And he's almost become family. He's just such a great guy. So we were able to help him. Otherwise, he probably would have ended up under a bridge somewhere. And then a family contacted us from up in the Northwest, and they had a daughter that was kind of a runaway, late 20s, had kind of migrated around the United States and had some mental health issues. She was found in a behavioral hold at a local hospital. The family contacted us. We were able to go and get her out of there, place her in an apartment, helped her get a job, helped her get the mental health services that she needed, because her parents worked full time and she was unwilling to go back home for whatever reason. So we were kind of the family boots on the ground here in town for the family to kind of keep an eye on her and report back to, for things that she needed. And, if her phone broke, she needed someone to help her with that. She could not manage any money on her own. So we were really able to help the family out because they could not, within proximity, get here to help her.
It's good to hear success stories, right? And when you look back, knowing that you're making a difference in people's lives, and anytime that you do this, you're in the service industry. I think that it's huge that you have that feel good moment, right, or two. So earlier you mentioned that you do consider yourself a concierge service. How does that translate or compare to something like a caregiving service? Can you help explain that?
Sure. So caregiving services are extremely important. And we kind of call them babysitters because they come in, it's shift work. They'll come in 2 to 3 times a week, whatever the family's requested, for a couple of hours and help out with, minor things around the house. And that's a valuable resource to have for some people. Some people need more than that. And as Purview Life, we like to be more life-centric. We like to handle all the things for our clients. So if they do need a caregiving service, we schedule it, make sure that the people are showing up on time. We like to handle their finances, their doctor's appointments, if they need to get physical therapy. When we have one center of the wheel operating and scheduling everything, we can keep track of everything versus a niece or an aunt or something helping out, and then people aren't communicating. So, we've got great resources for that. We've become engaged with some caregiving services, realtors, and attorneys that we like to refer to because we've got a history with them, and we know that they do a great job. So I think that's a valuable resource.
Awesome. If people are interested in reaching out to you and finding out more information, what's the best way to contact you?
Well, you can start at the website, purviewlife.com. You can locate the Tulsa or the Oklahoma City office from there. Our contact information is there. Of course, you can always contact Roberto Seda Law to get in contact with us as well. And we tell people all the time, I wonder if Purview Life could help me. And if you can ask yourself that question, you need to call and ask, because 99% of the time we can help you. And if we can't, we can at least point you in the right direction.
Oh, awesome. Well, I've definitely found this to be very informational. Honestly, I knew of what Mike does, but even through this conversation, I got to learn more. So I hope you found this educational, and I hope that you will join us in future videos where we get to meet with community partners and just learn about how they're providing a great service to the community.